Hey everybody, it's Moonbo here, and welcome to Scrap Mechanic City episode 19, I think it is. Now, in this episode, as you can see, I'm in my condo, and I've got my bags packed right here, and the RV is outside waiting. So I'd say we hop in, and head on over to the highway and make our way to the campgrounds. Alright, so here we are on the highway. This is the first concept of a highway that I've started to make. As you can see right here, we got a little exit sign telling us our exit is coming up soon. But just to quickly talk about the highway, this is something that I would like to expand on, and I've had the idea of maybe doing overpasses and off-ramps and stuff like that. So let me know in the comments if you guys want to see a little bit more of some highway work. I can definitely try and work with that. As you can see though, this has a nice 2-lane on each side with a center divider. There's a whole bunch of street lamps as well as like a safety rail on the side here. And now you can see we're coming up to the exit here, so there's like a nice sign right above the RV there that doesn't hit the RV, which is kind of key. And then here we have a nice 45-degree off-ramp, which is of course going to lead us to the campground. Alright, after a little bit more driving, we have finally made it to our destination, the RV and campground. So right here, as you can see, there's a section of road from the city that leads us to a dirt road with a whole bunch of like gravel and rocks. If I zoom out of here, you can see that's pretty much exactly what it is. I made concrete and painted it brown, and then I put a whole bunch of those like the bolts down, and it kind of simulated like a bumpy old back road that you'd have to maybe take your time on. So as you can see, I wanted to integrate the city into the kind of landscape that's natural in a terrain world. And so in this case here, I made a pretty neat looking front entrance here that can open up the gates once you drive up to them, as well as like a simulated kind of grassy dirt road that you'd have to get through and use a huge ramp there. So as you can see though, it trips a sensor there and it opens up the arm, and that gives us a whole bunch of time to get through. And as you can see, I just kind of threw some muddy looking tire tracks on the grass here. But we're going to slowly make our way around this corner and head on down to the main kind of, I guess you could say it's the cabin, the main cabin for the campgrounds. So in this episode of the RV and Campground, I'm going to be showing you guys the RV in a little bit more detail, as well as a whole bunch of cool creations that I've placed around this terrain, which includes this little area here, which is the groundskeeping area and the main reception area, and the RV section, which is over to the left there, and the tent camping grounds are farther over that way on the right. So we'll be starting here, we'll make our way over to the RV section, and end the episode over at the tent section, which has all sorts of cool stuff to check out. So let's get right into it, shall we? So right here, this is the reception cabin. A lot of this area is actually marked out with these kind of pegs that I've lined on the ground. So I wanted to really keep the natural aesthetic, but kind of keep a little bit of a direction as well. So, what is this? I wonder, what does this button do right here? You know what? That's the truth. So, let's go into the cabin here. So this is nothing too crazy. I kind of wanted to make some nice little windows on either side there so you can see it's kind of like a texture looking thing. And this is really just like an office area. I did make a fireplace in here actually, and you can see it from the outside. I'll show you the chimney. This is just like a little backpack and a front counter here. To kind of, you can either serve the people through the window, or they can come in and hang out on the couch there. Now, if I go around to the back here, you'll see we have stacks of wood, so the campers and the RV guys can come over and buy firewood from the area. And this is the back chimney. I decided to put some concrete up there, and if I quickly run over here, you can see it actually does create a nice smoke effect coming out of the chimney, as if there was a live fire going on. And these are these are the new vehicle that I've made for the campground. So it's kind of like a Jeep-looking utility vehicle. I have a version here that doesn't have a trailer on it, but I also have a version right next to it that does have a trailer attached. And you can see over this way I have a couple extra trailers in case one of them breaks down. Now these are just some city dumpsters that I've brought over to the campground because of course you can imagine there will be garbage and you will have to deal with it. Aside from that, the front area is pretty simple. You can see I have it all marked off, and there's some concrete kind of stoppers here for the patrons to come over and park, and if they need to go in there and do their business, then they most certainly can. But I think we should definitely grab this Jeep here with the trailer, and we're going to make our way over to the RV section. I have a couple already set up there. So over here at the RV section, I really only made it very simple, and I put a few water stations to kind of show you where each RV section would be. Now I did a repaint of that one, which is over there, and I have that one kind of decked out, so we'll go and check that one out. And this one really is just here as like a placeholder. Now before we do check out that RV over there, I just wanted to show you guys, this is, you probably saw it in the intro there, this is like a lake that I made, as well as a tire swing. So if we hop out here, we can actually make our way over to this tire swing here, and the easiest way to do it, of course, is with two people, but if you're only, if you're flying solo, you can quickly hit that with a hammer and then hop onto it like that, and kind of jump off into the water. Now, if there was two people, of course, though, you can imagine if I let it rest right here, you can definitely get it swinging a lot higher if you had the two people. And this lake is actually really cool. It took me a little while to make because it started to get laggier and laggier, and I couldn't believe how laggy it got. It was so laggy that I just kind of had to give up on it. I was going to add a bit more detail, like the little pond that's at the front of the entrance, but ultimately I decided to just leave it the way it is and kind of just appreciate it like that. So let's swing around this lake though and check out the RV that I made. Now I have to say that this RV was made in the most part during a stream, and I'll be putting a link in the description if you do want to see that stream and hang out with past Moonbo and you know, kind of get an idea of the build process of something like this. Now the RV is really cool though. It's the first RV that I've ever made, and it's not too bad. I've seen much better ones on the workshop, I won't deny that, but it's my RV and I'm pretty proud of it. So we'll start this off by showing the door here. This is a relatively simple door concept. It's just a pivoting arm that will bring the entire door out, so that way it kind of gives it that sleek design, and it's like a sliding piston door. I have added to the RV this little canopy here, so you can actually put yourself a little picnic table underneath it with a couple cups of coffee. And over here we just have a couple of those lounging chairs. They look so comfy. So let's hop into this RV, shall we? So the RV is pretty spacious when the entire kitchenette is hanging out the side, which I forgot to show you actually. If you see over here, that's the kitchenette which comes out. You can actually retract it as well, and I'll show you that in action here. All you have to do is hop in and press this button right there, and as you can see, the kitchen will come right back in so you can keep on driving. But of course, when you're on the grounds, you want to open that up, and you have loads of room for all sorts of activities. And back here, there's a bed with a couple controllers to control some of the stuff in the RV, as well as a very simple and small bathroom that you can't get out of, so don't go in there. And this is also a shower here. So from the RV itself, you have control of the kitchenette. So if you press the 2 key here, you can see it in action. The RV kitchenette will come out, and if you press it again, it'll slide right back in, and you can control the door by pressing the 4 key. So overall, I am extremely happy with the turnout of this RV, and I hope you guys enjoy it. There will be a link in the description to the world download for this camping area, so you guys can have a look at this RV and all the other stuff that this world does have to offer. But let's hop back into our groundskeeper Jeep and head on over to the other side of the map, which is where we will find the campground for the tents. I wanted to mention while I'm driving across the map, I listened to your guys' feedback, and some people were complaining that my cars flip over too much, and I definitely agreed with that. So this one, in this case, I made out of wood, and as you can see, the suspension doesn't bottom out, so I'm actually getting all sorts of great clearance on this vehicle, and it's really easy to drive. Now, I'm going to show you guys a couple of the campgrounds here, or I guess the tent sites, and I'll show you the center area here, which is kind of like the common area. So pulling up to this one here, so this is pretty much like a general camping lot. As you can see, I have a bench here with a fireplace in the center. This here is like a little bit of a grilling station, so you can cook your hot dogs and stuff. Now, the tent design is obviously pretty simple, just a whole bunch of wedge pieces lined up on either side and painted green. Now, this one here does have a canopy on the top, and I put these little corner pipe pieces to kind of simulate the tent being pegged down. Now, I did make a little hatchet kind of axe thing here as well, just to add a little bit of detail. So let's crawl into the tent here. So as you can see, though, there is some of the foliage coming up through the ground, which is kind of annoying, but I really wanted the ground particles on for this one because it just adds so much effect. So this is kind of like a sleeping bag here, though, and this is a backpack here, so who knows, maybe it's a hiker coming to camp and enjoy the mountain trails up there. And of course, each campground site is marked with one of these tote bot heads, which is kind of like the theme of the campground. If you guys had to come up with a name for the campground, what do you think you would name it? Maybe something along the lines of tote bot head? I don't know. I'm sure you guys are very creative and can come up with something better than me. So let's hop into the groundskeeper Jeep again, and we're going to make our way to the most private campground section. Again, pointing out that you can see the markings on the ground here to kind of keep you in line, I suppose you could say. Alright, so this one is extremely private. It's all the way up this hill right here. As you can see, though, the sign is right there on the right. And this one is just awesome. I do enjoy this one the best because it's really high up in the hill. You have a great view of the entire area down there, as well as you're right next to the shade of the mountain, so you can kind of enjoy this bench here in the shade and maybe not have to worry about getting sunburnt. But like the other one, it has the same general features, which is kind of like what you would find at a campground anyway, the grill and the fireplace and stuff. So I'm going to try and back out of here now. I don't think it's going to work out too well, so I think I'm going to just actually turn around and save myself the hassle. There we go. This thing is so much fun to drive, especially with that little trailer on the back. But alright, so let's head on down. So I'm just going to give you guys a quick little roundabout tour here of the area. So making our way this way, this is just another general campground here. Obviously, there are some campers on site. And over this way, this is pretty much like a general lot of campground that you would see that doesn't have a tent on it. So it's kind of, we're waiting on some future customers to show up. But we are going to come back around the pathway here, and I'll show you guys the common area for the campground. I'm really happy. It has a kind of like a little game to play, which is horseshoes. So let's zip up right next to it here and kind of do a little 180 flip here. Alright, perfect. So this is the common area for the campground. This is the horseshoe section right here, so you can actually play, and it's not the easiest, but I'll show you guys that. So I'm going to grab the lift here, and the easiest thing to do is to line up your horseshoe directly on the ledge of the box on your end here. So you can stand kind of right here, line up the peg on that side, and hit this with a hammer and hope to try and land it on that peg there. So you know what, let's just try these three here, and maybe, just maybe, I might be able to land one. Alright, so maybe I need to get underneath it a little bit more like this. Come on! Get up! Oh, very close. Alright, one more. And of course, like I said, the world download will be in the description, so you guys can try your hand at the horseshoes here. I can swear, I did get this before. I obviously won't be getting it for the recording because that's just how it goes, isn't it? Try again. Nope, didn't make it up. You know what? Pretty close, though. Let me know how you guys do with the horseshoes, actually. Now, over here, this is just a few picnic tables, so you can come over here and eat your lunch and have a little bit of a picnic. I did add a couple barbecues here as well. Usually you would find some barbecues at a campground, so that way you can have some big group barbecues, or even use it for your own personal needs. But this is something that I made a while ago, and I've been using it ever since. It's just one of my favorite things that I've ever made, as far as like a little detail goes. So over here, though, you gotta keep the children entertained, or even adults like myself who want to have a good time in a sandbox here. So as you can see, very simple sandbox, but I did add one of these things here. So as you can see, if you press this key here, it'll turn it to the left. If you press that one, it'll turn it to the right. And there's a couple keys here which you can use to like actually kind of do that digging motion, right? Just a little bit of detail that I decided to add as an afterthought for the sandbox, because I thought about it and I was like, you know what, you usually do see something of this nature at a campground with a sandbox. And the last thing for the common area is over here, which is just a simple bathroom. I would imagine maybe it's just a hole in the ground under these, but who knows. And it's just the same on either side here as well. But you know, you need at least some type of reality when you're camping, right? And I think a bathroom can sometimes make the difference with that one there. So there you have it, guys. Let's recap this episode. We had the highway, of course, with the RV, as well as this awesome Jeep. We had the RV side with a little bit of a detailed RV and a tire swing, as well as the reception area and the tent campground on the other side. So all in all, this was a little bit of an extensive build as far as trying to get the detail down, as well as making the vehicles work as best as possible, and getting that front entrance with the gates going as well, and trying my best to transition from like a city build to like the forest build, and try to make it look as best I can anyway. So thank you so much, guys, for watching this episode of Scrap Mechanic City. If you want to give your suggestions for the city, then be sure to let me know down below in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, and if you enjoy my work, then make sure you hit that like button to show your support. It means the world to me, and I'll be definitely seeing you guys tomorrow with more Scrap Mechanic. This time it's going to be suggested creations, so make sure you tune back in tomorrow on Sunday. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you soon.